You might already be microchipped and not even know it. I'm going to share with you documents that confirm virtually everything on the planet is either going to be tracked or being tracked right now. The goal is to have over 100 trillion microscopic tracking chips, literally linking everything under the sun, everything on the planet, people included. They don't bring that up, but actually, well, they do in different forms. This is insane. And what I'm going to add to this is even more insane, ladies and gentlemen. So you've probably already been chipped. You're probably already inside a computer. The Matrix is real. Reality's a trip. More science fiction than science fiction sometimes. Now, this information is literally mind-blowing and mind-controlling. Absolutely, literally. I will also be sharing with you a patent sent to me from a member of the United States military. Now, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. J. This has connected several dots and added several key pieces to a very complex puzzle we live in right now. These microchips are so small, you literally need a microscope to see them, unless you have superhuman vision. And many of you here at Leak Project probably do have superhuman vision, because I know it takes a superhuman to listen to some of my rants and still actually stay subscribed and still listen to my podcast. So thank you, everybody, for joining me this edition of Leak Project. And I'd also like to thank the mods for being here. I just got back. I had to go out of town for a night, and I'm glad that I did. Welcome to the new world order, ladies and gentlemen. Many people spend time thinking about how to prepare for catastrophes, whether it's Planet X, thermonuclear war, natural disasters, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanoes, nuclear leaks, reactor meltdowns, asteroids, near-Earth orbit objects, NEOs, and so forth. And what about the real elephant in the room that you can't see? Unless, of course, like I said, you've got a microscope or superhuman vision. Now, with that said, here's the real deal. There is a project that was implemented approximately 2008. I wrote about this, I blogged about this 7 years ago, and it kind of disappeared. It's very difficult to find information, and what you can find are these older slides, and I've connected even more dots linking not only cell phone towers, but a specific patent that I will share with you that literally can manipulate your brain, your neurological system via television. And if you go back to the year 2000, when high definition TVs started to kind of trickle out on the market, and you could go out and buy a 50-inch high definition 1080i, 1080 lines interlaced, or you can actually go down to the 720 progressive. And do you remember when those big screens first came out with high definition? There, people were just like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And I actually sold electronics at the time. I was 20 years old, and I worked for this place that was like, I wouldn't say like Best Buy, because the people that actually worked there were salespeople. They got paid commissions, so they wanted to help the customers. And I was young and dumb, and I'm still pretty dumb, but I'm not as young anymore. And I remember these high-definition television sets becoming the mainstream and becoming what people are actually wanting to purchase. And before that, the televisions, especially in the big screen TVs, were more pixelated, and people wouldn't want to buy a big screen just because the picture sucked. And also, I remember being pitched when I was in the industry, the reason that high-definition TVs were going to become the norm was because you could actually emit 6 times the amount of information in the same amount of band space, if that makes any sense. And I don't know if that was told to me properly. That was what I was told at the time. That was the pitch. And obviously, the picture quality is much better. But when I share with you these patents, folks, that came out around that time that link mind control and literally controlling your neurological system, that has also connected many other dots and crazy puzzle pieces being added to the puzzle that I've been looking for, that really I feel is a lot more of a, let's just put it this way, warfare now, folks, is so advanced, mind control is just so cutting edge, that the way you can be manipulated, the way that you can be tracked, most people might not even think about. And if they do think about it, they think of it as being too far woo-woo. But once I share with you, well, let me just kind of share, first of all, what are you looking at? People are probably wondering what you're looking at. I mean, obviously you can see here it says 1 trillion sensor visions. This is Hewlett-Packard's central nervous system of the Earth. And at first they're saying, oh, you know, we just want 1 trillion sensors around the globe to track virtually everything in virtual time, real time in virtual networks. Well, they want to get it up to 100 trillion. Look at that, 100 trillion sensor vision. Now, if you take the year 2017, where we're at right now, you can see that it's about 100 billion sensors right now in play. 100 billion sensors in play. So let me ask you this, folks. How in the world do you spread 100 billion transistor / chips, these microscopic, these miniature chips, and they are literally about the thickness of a human hair? And I'm going to share with you images in just a minute, but let's talk about this graph here first. 1 trillion in just a few years, 100 billion right now, 100 billion tracking chips, sensors, potato, tomato. These things are miniature, and I'm going to show you the Hitachi chips that are considered at least the smallest that we're told about. And it's not, they don't even call it dust anymore. They don't call it smart dust. It's called smart powder. And this stuff can be used for virtually anything that you can think about. Talk about a voyeur's wet dream. This stuff is crazy. So when we go to, right now, look at the time frame, you can see about 100 billion of these sensors. Now, let's do this. Let's go to the next image right here. And as you can see, the original, well, I shouldn't say the original, but the 2013 time frame, they had these tracking chips, smart dust, that was 0.4 millimeters. So you could see one of those things on your fingertip if you got pretty good vision, or if you got glasses on or contacts, and you're like, okay, what is that? It looks like a piece of dust. You know, you just wipe it right off your finger. That is a tracking chip that actually can send a radio frequency identification signal and hold data as to what subject is tagged. This information will be relayed back to the receiving source. And then if you go down here, now you've got the powder type. The powder type tags are some 60 times smaller than the moo chip above. It's like, yeah, moo, because the one above looks like a cow in comparison to these tags 60 times smaller. That is a human hair in the center, ladies and gentlemen. That's a human hair. How are you going to know if you're tracked? Do you think they need to track you by injecting it in your arm or injecting it in your hand or, you know, in your forehead? No. Do they need your permission? No. They'll do it in the name of business. Oh, it's for business purposes, ladies and gentlemen. It's so you guys can understand things better and really, really feel connected, ladies and gentlemen, because you need to feel connected. So how do we do it? Well, we literally connect you into a virtual harvesting farm where we suck your soul out slowly and use you as an energy source. And then when you die, we take you down the wrong path and recycle your soul so we can do it again. Welcome to the New World Order, ladies and gentlemen, where we love you so much. If you don't want aspartame, you have an option for bleached sugar. Which do you choose? Do you want to cut off your arm slowly, or do you want to drink poison and have your digestive tracts fall out of your a-hole? You'll live either way. You choose. That reminds me of Saw, right? You know, the movie that everybody loves now. And somebody that I know that you would think is like a librarian, because she looks like a librarian, she is watching Dexter right now, like she's going through a marathon of Dexter, and it's creeping me out. I'm like, how do you watch that? And it's just, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out just thinking about it, man. But all right, look at this right here. This is the U chip. This thing isn't even as small. It's not the moo chip, but the U chip. Look at just take a quick look here at the not only size, but also the radio frequency, emitting at about 2.45 gigahertz. Look at the communication distance. Look at the data capacity. Now, if you've got 1 trillion sensors, 1 trillion microchips around the world, bouncing information and data back and forth, Wi-Fi signals can track human beings and movement. Let me repeat that. The Wi-Fi signals in your house create a network of frequencies that can be picked up, and people can track where you are, how many people are in the room, what's in the room. It's incredible. That's ancient technology. This right here is ancient technology, yet most people don't know about it. And this, in my opinion, now, I feel that we could already be microchipped, ladies and gentlemen, and not even know it, because this could be in your pores, it could be in your brain, it could be in your nervous system, it could be all over. And that gigahertz frequency, wait until I share with you these mind control patents, literally mind control patents, via TV, via monitor, via frequency, patents in the house. Look at this. Here's the central nervous system for the Earth. Hewlett-Packard. You can see right here, they're telling you exactly what they want to track. They're not telling you everything. They're telling you the commercial applications. Let's go into some of this stuff real quick. Let's go into this. What about, first of all, if there's 100 billion of these sensors, which that chart showed, 100 billion sensors, approximately 2017 timeframe, how did they spread these chips? How do they do it? Do they hand pick? Do they have somebody that they pay $12 an hour? No, I know how they do it. I know how they do it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take offense. What they do is when people come over here from other countries illegally, they hire them and they pay them minimum wage to hand pick. They'll hand pick them, but they'll tell them where they need to put these microscopic chips. They're like, yeah, just put a little bit of over there, put some over there. Just put a little bit, just sprinkle it out. When you're out doing what you do, just kind of, just sprinkle a little bit all over the place. We'll give you $10 an hour. We'll give you housing. And I'm being sarcastic. I really doubt that's how they're spreading 100 trillion microscopic chips around the globe. How do you do it? I mean, vaccines, sure, okay. They don't need vaccines. They don't need to inject you with something with a needle when they can put it in the water. They can put it in the chemical trails. They can put it in the stratospheric aerosol injections. They don't even need to put it in the stratospheric aerosol injections, ladies and gentlemen. They can put it in the fuel. They can disguise it as an extra octane booster. Oh, this new and improved nanotechnology will actually allow you to get better fuel economy. This new nanotechnology will actually allow your carburetor to clean itself better. Do they even have carburetors anymore? Okay, your fuel injection, whatever. And it's just incredible, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to give it to you for free in the new gas station improved fuel. So it's very easy to put a microscopic elephant right in front of you, and you can't even see it. It's an elephant. How come it's an elephant? Because it's as powerful as an elephant, yet you don't see it unless you got a microscope. So what do? Well, they can easily put it in fuel sources. They can easily put it in sweeteners. Yeah, vaccines, sure, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I was looking at one of the syringes that was used in the swine flu vaccine, and that thing had a pretty big tip at the end of it there, and it wasn't as big as some of these syringes that people can inject themselves with the rice grained, with something the size of a chip the size of a rice. You can get those now. It's pretty easy to do that. I've had people on the show that actually boast that microchip under their skin. And hey, whatever, man, that's cool. I think there's enough ways for them to track us, let alone me wanting to have something like that under my skin 24/7. But hey, they've got clubs now you can go to that if you've got one of those chips, you just swipe it and you just go right in. Have a good time, ladies and gentlemen. So, I remember back in 2013, Colorado Springs. I was working out there for a month. It was awesome, ladies and gentlemen. I had the time of my life out there, met some amazing people, did some amazing things. And I remember walking down the street from this house rental that my coworkers and myself rented out. It was like this 10-bedroom house. And walking with my coworkers in the morning, I've got my polarized sunglasses on, and I'm seeing these nanoparticulates fall from the sky. And I mean, there's just, I don't know how many, millions, billions, trillions. I can't count every single one of them, but you can see it. You can see it. And especially with your polarized glasses on, you're looking at this stuff and you're watching it literally just fall like cake. It's like peppering. And it's like there's like a giant salt and pepper shaker up there. They're just shake it up, shake it up. And I'm like, look at that, you guys. And my coworkers aren't even conspiracy theorists. And I give my coworkers my sunglasses, and they're like, holy shot, Rex. Holy shot. You're right, Rex. Absolutely crazy. They were freaking out. And it's not difficult to see on, it's like, you know what, guys? The past few days I've noticed the sky, well, I've noticed this many times before, but a lot even lately. Does real weather even exist anymore? Does real weather, I mean, real clouds, are there real clouds anymore? Because it seems like anytime I look in the sky, it'll be a beautiful blue. If there's ever beautiful blue skies, guess what? They've got to find a way to poison you. They'll start spraying, and then the next day it's overcast and yucky. And, you know, some days I remember coming back from South Dakota and looking at the chemtrail haze, the fake particulate clouds, and it reminded me of a bathroom in a run-down bar that hasn't been cleaned in a long time, and somebody just went in there and had the squirts all over the toilet. That's what the sky looks like. It looks like nanotechnology, nano. It looks like nanotranshumanism diarrhea squirts. But instead of it only being in a gross run-down bathroom stall, it's now in the sky. And anybody that's listening to this that can do something about it. Anybody that, is in, high levels of power that can do something about this. Do something about it, man. Come on. I mean, do you want to breathe this stuff in? Really? What did you sell out for? What did you sell out for? Is it worth it? Is it worth it for your kids? Is it worth it for you? Is it worth it for your friends and your family and the future generations? What if you're reincarnated into this nastiness, man? Do you want to come back into a system that's so far out of whack that they've literally got you in some bubble and you can't even go outside anymore because if you go outside, your skin will get fried because they depleted the entire atmosphere? Is that what you want? Is it worth it? Can you do something about it? Can you say, no, we're not going to allow this anymore. We're not going to fund this anymore. I mean, please do something about it in a non-violent way, obviously. And anybody that I'm talking to right now, of course, because they've got the opportunity to sign stuff, they've got the opportunity to say yes or no in the realms of law, the law of man that we all have to follow. Follow like a good little slave, ladies and gentlemen. Be a good little slave so they can poison you and get paid while they do it. They love you, ladies and gentlemen. They absolutely love you so much. And let's talk about some of this stuff that they're doing. Okay, so let's go back to the 2000 time frame when high definition becomes really popular and the frequency levels on these televisions becomes more intense. And then I'm going to share with you these patents just a minute. Hang out with me a minute. And I'll share the patents with you. Oh, man. Okay, let's take a look now at some of the things that are being tracked with this central nervous system of the earth. Wildlife, air, land, and water vessels, cars, boats, jet skis, water skis, people jet skiing, air traffic, real-time traffic conditions, and predictions, and algorithms for future possibilities and scenarios. Imagine everybody on the planet already having a sim of them that has been put together via algorithms of the information that's been compiled about you to test your threat matrix, and what they consider a threat is anything that might affect their hegemony, their ultimate control grid. Now, let's add to the wildlife, the animals, the agriculture, the plants, the minerals, the structures, the bridges, the buildings, etc. Oil and gas, water, other liquid deposits, government, home and business, automation and security, Think about the surveillance opportunities. Merchandise tracking. Well, what about the people? What about the people? Ladies and gentlemen, are they gonna possibly track people? Well, maybe just a little bit. Okay, so here's the patent. All right, nervous system. You've been waiting for it, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you that have waited patiently, here it is. The nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors. Physiological effects. Nanu. Have been observed, like it just happened to me right there. They just shapeshifted. Have observed in a human subject in response to stimulation of the skin and weak electromagnetic fields that are pulsed with certain frequencies near a half hertz to 2.4 hertz. That's extremely low in the hertz spectrum, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, they got stuff out now that's pushing in the way beyond gigahertz stuff. So it only takes a half hertz to 2.4 hertz to stimulate your skin and excite a sensory resonance. Many computer monitors and TV tubes, when displaying pulsed images, emit pulsed electromagnetic fields of sufficient amplitudes to cause such excitement. Woo! Like that. It is therefore possible to manipulate the nervous system. Let me repeat that. It is therefore possible to manipulate the nervous system of a subject by pulsing images displayed on a nearby computer monitor or TV set. For the latter, the image pulsing may be embedded in the program material. People are like, no, man, they can't control my mind with TV. I know what I'm watching, man. I like this stuff, man. This is real good reality TV. Hey, can I have some more diet soda? All right, got low sugar, man. All right, where are we at here? For the latter, the image pulsing may be embedded. I mean, this is just hilarious for me, folks, because I've been talking about this stuff for, over 10 years. And people are like, you're a conspiracy theorist, Rex. You're crazy, man. You don't know what you're talking about, dude. Well, okay, you're right. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Thank you. I take that as a compliment. And I would like to add to that, folks. I joined it was voluntary. I got this opportunity to join a think tank several years ago when I was really into blogging and really into just finding data and research, and I was getting into the mind control stuff, the nanotechnology, the biotechnologies, the clandestine control grid. And I remember I had an opportunity to join a think tank, and this think tank had people that were, professors and doctors and scientists and architects and very intelligent people, and they were all connected, and we would be asked questions like multi-level question, not multi-level, but, multi-question. What's the word I'm looking for here? You had multiple opportunities, a multiple choice. It's been that long since I've been to school. Multiple choice questions. Let's say something like, is the president of Yemen going to be turning blue once he falls outside of his bathtub on Wednesday in 2000X? And if so, what will happen to the stock market with this stock? Will X stock go to level Z? Will there be a meltdown in this country? They'll ask you about current events and about different, it was even media and movies, and you had a whole bunch of different options that you could pick. You could pick war type stuff, you could pick current events, and I just picked just about everything. I'm just like, bring it to me. And literally within a few months, I was in the top 5, and I hit first place several times, and I'm not saying that to brag about it. I'm saying that for those of you out there that are conspiracy theorists, like myself, like many of you that listen to Leak Project, that have been labeled a conspiracy theorist or, somebody that's a little kooky. Take that as a compliment. Because all those people out there, I'll bet you the majority of the people that were part of that network were far from conspiracy theorists and had much more prestigious positions than myself and many more titles and labels and, pieces of paper that are framed on the wall that probably cost them $150,000 for that paper, if you really think about it, combined with all the indoctrination that they have and all of the wonderful dinners that they had an opportunity to go to with the pharmaceutical companies that pitched them on how good the drugs were to give to people and how the side effects were very minimal and they were actually doing people a favor by poisoning them with poisonous drugs, yet they label it as something good for them, But anyway, I'm digressing. I'm divagating. Let's get back into the nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors. You can look at the patent dates. You can look at the publication dates, the priority date, the filing date. And then you can also look at some of these images. Let's take a look at some of these images. Look at that chick. She already looks like she's 2 steps away from being a zombie. I mean, walking zombie like most people. Look at her. She's like, oh, yeah, give me that mind control. And then you go to the next picture here. You can see some of these are the actual schematics. You can take a look at the schematics, the computer, the mind control box. I love it. She just loves this stuff, you know, I mean, completely mind controlled. Look at this poor little girl. She already looks like she's under complete mind control, doesn't she? She's like, yes, okay. Yes, I want to get a flu vaccine even if my mom tells me not to. I mean, just, you know, stuff like that. Really sad. So, and then here's mom again. Yes, I am under mind control. Oh, yes, I want to have a smart refrigerator so when I run out of milk, I don't even need to order it anymore. It'll order it for me. Yes, then I'll have more time to do things. Yes, then I'll have more time to watch TV and be a good consumer because being a good consumer is what people really need. Consume, consume. I'm doing it again, ladies and gentlemen. But isn't it true? Oh, here you go. For those of you that wanted to know, okay, Rex, we get it, but can you show us what some of these things look like? Well, here's some of these beautiful, beautiful icons of the New World Order. When you think about it, how lucky are we, folks, that we have access to beautiful mind control technologies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even when we're sleeping, they're reaping the benefits of our minds, our souls, our bodies. You will not assimilate me. Abracadabra. You do not have that opportunity. Hugh, I don't know about you. I say no to the New World Order. And also, when you look at some of these beautiful pieces of art that literally fry people's brains and fry people's nervous systems, they make them more difficult to find. They're getting pretty tough to see. Now, here's where I'm going to connect another dot that might freak you out. It might make you happier than heck. It might make you want to go buy another latte, another espresso. Make it a quad shot espresso. For me, thank you. No sugar, no cream, quad espresso, and some colostrum, and I'm ready to go. Matter of fact, I don't even need the espresso anymore. Anyway, so I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, I just showed you the patents that explain how they can control your mind and your nervous system, the frequency levels that they're doing it with. Let's add to that all of the cell phone towers, the antennae, the smart dust, the smart powder, the nano microchips that I just shared with you that you have to have a microscope to see. Well, what about the ones they don't tell us about? That stuff came out into the public realms about 3 years ago. Those microscopic Hitachi chips. What are they mixing into the fuel that's going into commercial jets without people even knowing about it? What about the fact that much of the food, much of the fruit drinks, fruit beverages, many of the products that we get come from overseas? What about companies, I shouldn't say companies, well, yeah, what about China with companies that have sold defective microchips to the military and have been able to steal information? And then we allow China to make vaccines. What are they putting in the vaccines? You don't think they want to control you? You don't think they want to track you? You don't think they want to manipulate you? What if the vaccines that you're getting have this stuff in it and you don't even know about it? What if, ladies and gentlemen, what if? Would you know? You'd have to put it under a microscope to find out. What if that organic cereal that you're buying has nano frosting on it? You wouldn't even know. Why don't you look up, just validate the conspiracy here if you want to. Don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. Look up how many thousands of products in the consumer realms have nanotechnology, and look up how many products don't even have to be labeled because of the minute size of the nanotechnology. So they're like, oh, it'll be okay. It's so small, it won't hurt you. Well, guess what? It's so small that it goes directly to your brain, bypassing the blood barrier. What are the long-term effects of microscopic plastic particulates and titanium alloy plastic, copper, magnesium, sulfate, dig-a-donkey-doo mixtures? They're embedded in your nervous system. And then I've shared with you somatics and how easy it is to manipulate matter with sound. What about these microparticulates that can be interfered with sound waves and frequency waves? Well, maybe you're having a bad day. Maybe you're thinking about doing something that might affect the hegemony of these guys. What do? Well, Mr. X is a threat matrix of 7.5 today. We need to lower that a little bit. We're going to send him a little extra love, ladies and gentlemen, because we love him so much. So what do? Well, we're just going to type in a couple algorithms in the computer, and it's going to send that data back to the area that he's located at, because we know that there's a certain amount of radio towers and cell phone towers that are strategically placed around the world, and the location that he's at, well, we've got 4 of them right there that can keep track of his mental state. So what we'll do, folks, is we're going to slow him down a little bit today, and we're going to lower that threat matrix to a 3. Now, we're going to lower that to a 0. Let's just give him a heart attack. Oh my gosh, a heart attack, man. I mean, how many times is there somebody that's going to come out with some just blockbuster information, or at least the news says they are, right? Oh man, Mr. X is coming out with this information about the administration tomorrow. He's going to tell us about it tomorrow. And then what happens to him later that night? He has a heart attack, even though he's in perfect health. He gets hit by a car, the brakes go out. Oh my goodness. He kills himself by shooting himself in the back of the head with a shotgun. That's the kind of stuff that happens to some people, and it's all just a conspiracy, ladies and gentlemen. It's all conspiracy. Well, how easy would it be to manipulate people? I just shared with you. It's probably easier than what I just shared with you, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it incredible? Aren't you glad they love us? Because if they didn't love us, man, we'd be in trouble, wouldn't we? Look at this thing. This reminds me of that tower that I saw in New Mexico. Would you know that was a antenna, a high emitting antenna, receiving information, emitting information, cell phone tower, potato. No, it's just a beautiful tree. Just a beautiful tree.
I am under mind control. I will do what you say, master. No, must not.
I mean, it's just for cell phones. Yeah, that's it. Just cell phones. That just because they have those patents for X doesn't mean it exists. It doesn't mean that this cell phone tower could bounce off of those microscopic chips that you were just sharing with us right here. These really small RFID chips that actually track things that move. There's no way that frequency, 2.45 gigahertz, there's no way that's going to affect the human consciousness. There's no way that's going to affect your nervous system. Nah, no way. No, that energy that's being bounced off of that radio tower, no big deal. It doesn't have any effect on you, sir. All right, so boom, boom, boom. Look at this one. Look at this thing. Oh, and it gets even better. Look at this. Now, they've got them hidden. They'll hide them in cactus. Somebody will be taking a picture of that thing. They'll be like, man, that's the biggest cactus I ever seen, man. And then all of a sudden, they have a stroke because they get too close to it, and their body isn't used to the 5G technology that is blasting directly into their cerebral cortex. Or maybe it just turns the entire. Here's what they do, folks. Do you really think they need to start a war? Do you really? I mean, all the war machine, these tanks and these jets, like these F-35s, where the pilots keep passing out because they're not getting enough oxygen. This $1 trillion project. Well, what happens when the people piloting the vessel have some type of tracking / manipulative device nano in their body? So many of them, it doesn't affect them until there's a certain frequency that goes right into their brain or towards their body. And then all of a sudden they can't even control their body. They literally lose control of their body. They lose their vision. They lose it all. I mean, it would be that easy to manipulate with this type of technology. How can you look at these particulates falling down from the skies, and then when they test them and they find all these different isotopes and they find these different metals and stuff like that, how much of that metal does it take? Do you think that your body, do you think those nanoparticulates that's in the food supply, the beverage supply, all over the place practically, you don't think that stuff gets in your body? You don't think it builds up? You think you're immune to it because you don't want to believe it? I mean, how about this? How about for those of you out there that see how easy it is to create somatics, to manipulate matter with sound, with wine glasses, with Tibetan bowls, with any sound. You can manipulate matter. Any sound manipulates matter. Well, put some sand on a piece of paper, on a flat surface, and then get some sound going on, directed towards that. You will see that sand move into different patterns. You don't think they got this under complete control, lockdown? What about the rhinovirus, the common cold that was most likely made in a laboratory, with a 5-pointed pentagram at the core of the virus? Was that virus even in existence 100 years ago, 200 years ago? I mean, I could get into the whole transhuman thing too. People often say, man, don't manipulate us how we are now. You don't think you've been messed with for decades, for eons? You think you're the original copy? Not even close. They've been manipulating you for eons. And they're still doing it with the food supply, the beverage supply, the medicine supply, the vaccines. Why do you think they use different animal DNA in viruses, in vaccines, I should say? Virus vaccines, you should kind of one of the same, aren't they? I mean, if you really think about it. And how many people have gotten sicker from the viruses in the vaccine? Well, a real vaccine, the virus is already dead, Rex. So, the virus isn't going to hurt you. The virus is already dead. Yeah, okay, well, if the virus isn't going to hurt him, well, then maybe it's the formaldehyde or the thimerosal or the squalene or the X100. Or maybe it's the monkey cells that have been known to cause cancer in some people. Oh, yeah, none of that has anything to do with it. You're a conspiracy theorist. Look at this. This right here is ancient. This is an ancient patent from Kodak. I think this is from Kodak. Edible microchips. Edible microchips. Y'all gotta have them, because if you got an edible microchip, you can listen to the television, and you don't even have to turn on the remote, man. You don't even have to turn it on. Hey, check it out, man. Hey, I don't even need to open my fridge anymore, man. It all just comes to me, dude. You see what I'm sitting on right here? I got a toilet underneath this right here, and I don't even have to get up. You see that TV show right now, My 657-Pound Life? Yeah, I'm going to be on it soon, man. How do you think I'm going to pay for all this stuff, man? Being on My 657-Pound Life. Yeah. This is America, man. Welcome to the new world order. They love us, man. I got my free phone, man. I got my free mind control, man. Wow. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. And people love this stuff. They're like, dude, can I have some more? Plug me into the Matrix, man. I know that steak ain't real, but it tastes good. I don't want the real porridge. I want the fake steak in the Matrix. You guys want to piss somebody off? You guys want to wake somebody up and piss somebody off without even being mean to them? Just question their faith, especially if they're of a certain religion. And first of all, I love Christians, okay? I was Christian most of my life. So Christians are awesome. So anybody that ever says, Rex, you don't like Christians? No, you guys are awesome. Why do you think I take so much flack waking you guys up? That was the hardest thing for me to break out of. That was the biggest mind control matrix for me to break out of, was religion. I mean, it is so funny. I read these comments in some of these videos that I do, and I'm thinking to myself, that was me 15 years ago. That was totally me, but them. So I get it. I've been there, guys. I love you. Really, I do. I mean, just put yourself in my shoes for a minute. Go through the comment section. Thank goodness there's nice people out there that actually leave good comments, because you guys make up for the trolls. You guys make up for the negative and the hostility. Absolutely. And there are so many gems of knowledge on Leak Project, youtube.com/clandestine Time Lord, that I just really appreciate that, because that helps me do this. Like, for example, somebody in the military, thank you for your service inside the military and out, Mr. J. Thank you for sending me that patent so I could share that with you guys. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that they have pills that have technology that will take images of the inside of your gut and send that information back to a tablet once it's reached its location to emit its medicine. Why can't we have real medicines? Why can't we have technologies used for us, not against us? How come only the few can have it? How come only the elite get it? When is it going to be our turn? And you're not the elite. What makes you the elite? Because you have more money? Well, if your definition of being elite is having more money and more resources, I got something for you. You could have it all. My empires of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt. I don't want those empires of dirt. I want empires of knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. I want empires of awesomeness. Empires of dirt are momentary lapses of reason. We could do a whole show on just specific one-liners from amazing artists that have written some of the most fascinating songs ever. And that's another thing, too. You got to realize songs are total mind control. I mean, why do you think so many people get whacked in the music industry and in the entertainment industry? Because they're influential and they don't follow the norm, especially if they signed a contract. If you signed a contract and you aren't keeping up with who you're supposed to, you aren't doing what you're supposed to, you're not selling the amount of records you're supposed to, you're not making the machine what you're supposed to, well, guess what? Your time's up. You're expired. Next. Thank divine providence I never had that opportunity. Because it's a lot brighter when you're independent and non-assimilated. It may not be as cozy. I'm out here in my garage right now with no air conditioning, and you know what? I actually like it. I actually like being out here in my garage with no air conditioning. It feels pretty good. I would much rather be here than on the Communist News Network regurgitating verbal vomit for the Dark Lord's agenda. You could offer me $1 million a year to do that, and I would laugh at you. I'd think about it. I'd be like, $1 million? Man, what could I do with $1 million? I could change the world with $1 million. And I'd be like, yeah, but then it's going to be bad karma. It's all going to be tainted anyway. You can't do that. No, I can't do that. Forget that. What about $100 million? No. What about $1 billion? You will not assimilate me. Empires of dirt, man. Empires of dirt. So, folks, I don't know how the stream's coming in. It shows that I am actually disconnected from the internet. And it also showed that my browser closed. So I don't know if we're still connected or not. Whether or not we are, I had a great time talking with you. And I'm also recording this for your leisure to listen at a later date. And if you would, make sure support our sponsors, getthetea.com, if you're looking for the best of the best. Seriously, guys, these guys are awesome. Their health products, their health supplements are amazing. Also, Quick Bivvy. Pick one up today. They're cheap, and they could potentially save your life. Also, leakproject.com. Become a contributing member and help support the cause. The more members we get, the more Leak Project can produce. The more I can personally do, and the more I can bring to you guys. Also, I want to thank everybody that's subscribed at youtube.com/clandestine Time Lord. Thank you everybody that's already a contributing member. Thank you. Also, one other thing. I'm excited for Sturgis. I've never been to a Sturgis event. I've been to the Sturgis area. Love the Black Hills. Love the Badlands. Love parts of South Dakota. If you want to go to Sturgis in August, but you don't want to drop crazy money on a hotel, and if you're interested in possibly purchasing a bunker, but you don't have $100,000, you don't have $1 million, or you just don't know how to do it, you've thought about it maybe in the past, maybe you've considered having a backhoe in your backyard, make a big hole and then dump it in one of those containers that you can pick up for a few grand that's about 40 feet and then burying it. And then you're like, wait a second, what are the neighbors going to think? And how effective is that actually going to be? And what are my options? Well, folks, I have a studio that's made out of concrete in South Dakota, And I'm hoping that eventually this area is going to turn into this really awesome micro community where it's going to be like the new Renaissance, where people are going to be coming up with, just awesome inventions and ideas and just really cool stuff. And then other places will look at that and they'll be like, wow, look at what they did. Wow, let's be like those guys. And then just kind of have this domino effect, this 100 monkey syndrome, this 100 human opportunity. Let's call it the 100 human opportunity. And let's be the change we want to see. So anyway, they're like 2,000 square feet. You've got a whole bunch of space to roam around. If you got like a fifth wheel or a motorhome, you could park it next to there. And if something really bad goes down where you don't want to be in the city, whatever that is, whether it's, unicorns coming down with superpowers where they can actually blast you with x-rays coming out of their eyeballs, whether or not it's these like giant dragons that have like rainbow colored eyeballs that can emit certain harp-like frequencies into your mind and cause them to explode like in the Mars Attacks. You know how they used to do that? And they would have Anyway, guys, come on. You got to have a little bit of fun. And plus, it's almost over anyway. So you guys already listened to most of the podcast. So I knew I could throw just a little bit out there. But please don't hate me. No. Just by me saying don't hate me, subconsciously you heard hate me. So I hope that you appreciate this podcast. I appreciate all you guys. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Have a beautiful day. Question everything. Be excellent to each other. And be the change you want to see. And I'm listening to Scorpions right now with Pandora as I close out. Nanu, 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 nanu.